The landscape of Los Angeles has always been a ruthless battleground for the wealthy, the beautiful, and the ambitious. But the sudden arrival of Darcy Dylan introduces an entirely new echelon of power and intimidation to the canvas. Stepping off the plane and into the sun-drenched chaos of the city, Darcy exudes a kind of commanding, unapologetic authority that demands immediate, unquestioning respect. She is not a woman who asks for permission, nor is she one to wait for an invitation. She dictates the terms of engagement from the moment she enters a room. Played with icy, brilliant precision, Darcy arrives at the exact moment when her daughter, Melissa Dylan, is caught in the dangerous crossfire of the bitter, escalating war between the Forrester and Spencer dynasties. Darcy is fiercely protective, a maternal lioness who has sensed a severe threat to her cub from miles away, and she has come to Los Angeles with a singular, unwavering mission to obliterate absolutely anyone who dares to look down upon or threaten her flesh and blood. The atmosphere at Logan Creations is already suffocating under the immense weight of recent corporate scandals and familial betrayals. But Darcy's impending wrath is about to make the current corporate tension feel like a gentle breeze compared to a Category 5 hurricane. Melissa has been navigating a highly treacherous path, attempting to secure her professional place in the cutthroat fashion world while simultaneously pursuing a complicated, highly scrutinized romance with the vulnerable Spencer heir, Will. While Melissa has proven herself to be remarkably resilient, the relentless scrutiny and judgment from the elite families of Los Angeles have begun to take a severe psychological toll. Darcy, observing this toxic environment from afar, absolutely refuses to let her daughter be treated as collateral damage or a disposable stepping stone for the wealthy elite. Her arrival signals a massive, seismic shift in the power dynamics, proving that the Dylans are not merely pawns in the Spencer Forrester chess game, but formidable, dangerous players capable of flipping the entire board. On the other side of this impending, catastrophic collision is Katie Logan Spencer, a woman driven to the absolute brink by her desperate, all-consuming need to protect her son. Katie has been conducting a relentless, obsessive investigation into Melissa's past, deeply convinced that the young woman is nothing more than a calculated, opportunistic gold digger. The trauma of Will's recent experiences, coupled with the horrific, lingering memories of Luna Nozawa's fatal deception and manipulation, has left Katie deeply paranoid and aggressively defensive. She views Melissa not as a young woman genuinely in love, but as a calculated predator circling the vast Spencer fortune. Katie's maternal instincts have morphed into a dangerous, blinding crusade, preventing her from seeing the possibility that Melissa's feelings for Will might actually be pure and genuine. In Katie's mind, she is the righteous, unwavering defender of the Spencer legacy, the only barrier standing between her vulnerable son and absolute ruin. Katie's witch hunt has been thorough, invasive, and entirely unforgiving. She has utilized every financial and corporate resource at her disposal to dig up dirt on the Dylan family, desperately searching for the smoking gun that will definitively prove Melissa's ulterior motives to Will. This relentless probing, this blatant disrespect for Melissa's privacy, dignity, and character is the exact catalyst that summons Darcy to the forefront of the battlefield. When Darcy discovers the full extent of Katie's invasive, hostile investigation, her maternal fury is ignited into a blazing, uncontrollable inferno. Darcy views Katie's actions as an unforgivable insult, a direct declaration of war against the Dylan name. The contrast between these two mothers is striking and deeply compelling. Katie is acting out of a defensive, fear-driven desperation to maintain control, while Darcy operates with an offensive, calculated ruthlessness that is specifically designed to annihilate her enemies before they can strike. The inevitable confrontation between Darcy Dylan and Katie Logan Spencer is nothing short of seismic, a breathtaking clash of titans that shakes the very walls of the Logan Creations executive office. When Darcy breaches Katie's inner sanctum, the temperature in the room seemingly plummets. Darcy does not raise her voice. She does not need to resort to shouting or hysterics. Her physical presence alone is a lethal weapon. She systematically and surgically dismantles Katie's self-righteous posture, mocking the Logan matriarch for her hypocritical judgment and unearned superiority. Darcy makes it abundantly, terrifyingly clear that Katie has severely underestimated the caliber of the woman she is currently dealing with. She warns Katie, with eyes as cold as steel, that the Dylans are not some charity case to be pitied or some scheming peasants to be easily swatted away by Spencer wealth. They are a force of nature, and Katie has foolishly stepped directly into their destructive path. As the verbal sparring intensifies, the emotional stakes of the confrontation skyrocket to unprecedented heights. Katie, stubbornly refusing to back down, fiercely defends her actions, passionately citing her maternal duty to protect Will from manipulative opportunists who only see dollar signs. She throws Melissa's perceived indiscretions and ambitious maneuvers directly in Darcy's face, weaponizing the rumors and the scandals that have recently plagued the younger generation. But Darcy is entirely impervious to Katie's judgment. Instead of defending her daughter's honor with tears or desperate pleas, Darcy goes on a brutal offensive, turning the mirror back on the deeply flawed, scandal-ridden history of the Logan and Spencer families. Darcy masterfully strips away Katie's perceived moral high ground, exposing the glaring hypocrisy of a family that has built its massive empire on a foundation of secrets, betrayals, and ruthless corporate takeovers. It is in this precise moment of heightened, suffocating tension that Darcy drops a bombshell that will forever alter the landscape of the Spencer family. With a chillingly calm, almost conversational demeanor, Darcy reveals a dark, deeply buried secret about the Spencer dynasty's past, a secret so explosive, so fundamentally destructive, that Katie never even knew it existed. The revelation hits Katie like a physical blow to the stomach, knocking the breath from her lungs and instantly shattering her carefully constructed reality. This is not just a piece of idle corporate gossip or a minor indiscretion. This is a foundationally a hidden, toxic truth that threatens to unravel the very fabric of the Spencer legacy and destroy the family's public standing. Darcy has clearly held onto this explosive information for a long time, waiting patiently for the precise, perfect moment to deploy it with maximum, undeniable devastation. The psychological impact of this horrific revelation on Katie is profound, immediate, and utterly paralyzing. For years, she has believed she knew absolutely everything about the man she married and the powerful family she married into. She has fiercely defended the Spencer name, fought tooth and nail for its honor, and repeatedly compromised her own morals to protect its reputation. Now, faced with Darcy's undeniable, concrete proof of this dark secret, Katie's entire world begins to violently crumble around her. The absolute certainty that fueled her righteous crusade against Melissa evaporates into thin air, instantly replaced by a suffocating, drowning wave of doubt, fear, and profound betrayal. Darcy watches with cold, calculated satisfaction as the devastating realization dawns on Katie's face. The true, existential threat to Will's future is not Melissa Dylan, but the toxic, deceitful, and corrupt legacy of his very own family. But Darcy Dylan is far from finished. She leverages this devastating secret with the flawless precision of a master extortionist, showing absolutely no mercy. She issues a chilling, non-negotiable ultimatum to a paralyzed, trembling Katie. If Katie does not immediately cease her invasive investigation into Melissa, if she does not back off completely and allow the young couple to pursue their relationship in peace, Darcy will leak this explosive Spencer secret directly to the international press. At a time when Logan Creations is already struggling to manage the apocalyptic PR nightmare of Will's recent arrest for assault and the volatile, ongoing fallout from Hope's controversial defection, this new, catastrophic scandal would be the final, fatal nail in the coffin. Darcy threatens to utterly obliterate the reputation of Logan Creations and the Spencer family, ensuring that their brand is forever associated with deceit, corruption, and unforgivable scandal. The sheer brilliance of Darcy's blackmail threat lies in its absolute, targeted ruthlessness. She knows exactly how much Logan Creations means to Katie. It is Katie's independence, her hard-won legacy, her ultimate triumph over the Forrester monopoly. By holding the company's fragile reputation hostage, Darcy forces Katie into an agonizing, impossible corner. Katie must now choose between her obsessive, controlling need to dictate her son's love life and the survival of her professional empire and family name. It is a terrifying masterclass in psychological manipulation, and Darcy executes it flawlessly, proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that she is more than capable of playing the high-stakes, cutthroat games of Los Angeles elite and winning them decisively. The toxic fallout from this epic mother versus mother showdown rapidly spirals outward, inevitably dragging Bill Spencer directly into the chaotic, suffocating web of lies. When Bill learns of Darcy's formidable presence in Los Angeles and the explosive, buried secret she currently holds over their heads, his trademark, unshakable arrogance, is momentarily shattered. Bill has spent his entire adult life burying his past sins, constructing an impenetrable, glittering fortress of wealth and intimidation around his family to keep the darkness at bay. Now, a vengeful ghost from the past, or at least a woman holding the keys to his darkest, most guarded closets, has arrived directly at his doorstep. Bill finds himself caught in a terrifying, unfamiliar crossfire, forced to navigate the explosive, heartbroken rage of his wife and the cold, calculating, undeniable blackmail of Darcy Dylan. Bill's sudden involvement complicates the volatile situation exponentially. Previously, he had secretly supported Will's romantic pivot toward Melissa, viewing the relationship as a highly convenient, strategic way to permanently sever his son's ties to the Forrester family. But now, with Darcy holding a loaded metaphorical gun to the head of the Spencer legacy, Bill's perspective drastically and violently shifts. He is forced into a frantic, desperate mode of damage control, attempting to negotiate with a woman who clearly cannot be bought, bribed, or intimidated by his usual tactics. The dynamic between Bill and Darcy is electric and highly dangerous, a clash of two apex predators circling each other in a confined space, each fully aware that one wrong move, one miscalculation, could result in absolute mutual destruction. Bill's usual tactics of financial bribery and physical threats are rendered completely useless against Darcy's maternal ferocity and her possession of the ultimate, undeniable trump card. As Bill frantically attempts to manage the escalating crisis and contain the secret, the fragile foundation of his marriage to Katie is once again severely tested. Katie, reeling from the horrific revelation of the Spencer secret and the realization that her husband has lied to her, turns her profound fury toward Bill. The trust they have painstakingly, agonizingly rebuilt over the past year is fractured instantly as Katie demands to know the full, unvarnished truth about what else Bill has been hiding in the shadows. The corporate war against Forrester Creations suddenly pales in comparison to the bitter, emotional civil war erupting within the walls of the Spencer household. Darcy's bombshell has effectively detonated the Spencer family from the inside out, proving that her protective instincts are as deeply destructive as they are formidable. Caught helplessly in the epicenter of this escalating, vicious warfare are Will Spencer and Melissa Dylan. For Will, the current situation is a psychological nightmare of epic, unbearable proportions. He has just made the incredibly difficult, emotionally draining decision to permanently close the door on Electra Forrester and fully commit his heart to a new, helpful chapter with Melissa. He is desperately seeking stability, love, and peace after weeks of violent physical confrontations, arrests, and exhausting corporate espionage. Instead of a safe haven, he finds himself standing at the center of a vicious, scorched earth blood feud between his own mother and the mother of the woman he is trying to build a life with. Will is paralyzed by the rapidly escalating hostilities, feeling entirely unable to protect Melissa from Katie's wrath without simultaneously betraying and alienating his own family in their darkest hour. Will's internal conflict is agonizing and deeply tragic. He desperately wants to stand by Melissa, to prove to her and to the world that his feelings for her are genuine, profound, and not just a reckless, drunken rebound. But the sudden revelation of the Dark Spencer family's secret, combined with Darcy's ruthless, uncompromising blackmail, places an unbearable, crushing weight on his young shoulders. He is forced to confront the dark, unsettling reality of his family's legacy, questioning everything he thought he knew about his father's morality and his own identity as a Spencer. The safe, loving haven he hoped to build with Melissa is rapidly transforming into a toxic war zone, and Will is left desperately, wondering if any romance, no matter how strong, can survive this unprecedented level of toxicity, manipulation, and familial warfare. Melissa, too, is profoundly and painfully affected by her mother's drastic, scorched earth actions. While she is deeply, inherently grateful for Darcy's fierce, unwavering protection and love, she is also terrified by the immense collateral damage her mother is willing to inflict to secure her safety. Melissa has been trying to navigate the treacherous, judgmental waters of Los Angeles high society on her own terms, hoping to prove her worth through her hard work at Forrester Creations and her genuine, developing connection with Will. Now Darcy's aggressive, blackmail-driven intervention threatens to completely overshadow everything Melissa has achieved on her own. She realizes with a sinking heart that her mother's blackmail, while designed to protect her from Katie's cruelty, might actually be the very explosive catalyst that ultimately destroys her fragile, blooming romance with Will. The dynamic between Melissa and Darcy becomes fraught with complex, unspoken tension. Melissa is forced to confront the harsh reality of who her mother truly is: a formidable, dangerous woman who will stop at absolutely nothing, not even international blackmail and corporate sabotage, to ensure her daughter's survival and dominance. While Melissa fundamentally understands Darcy's maternal motivations, she is deeply uncomfortable and morally conflicted with the ruthless methods being employed. The young woman finds herself trapped in an impossible emotional vice, caught between her deep loyalty to her mother and her rapidly growing love for Will, knowing full well that these two powerful forces are currently locked in a bitter battle to the death. Melissa must quickly decide whether to embrace her mother's ruthless, winning tactics or attempt to chart a different, more honorable course, even if it means risking her heart and her future in the process. The atmospheric tension in Los Angeles is currently thick enough to cut with a knife, radiating with the promise of impending destruction. The arrival of Darcy Dylan has fundamentally and permanently altered the power structure of the city, proving once and for all that the established, legacy dynasties are not invincible to outside threats. The battle lines have been starkly drawn, not just between rival fashion houses competing for market share, but between fiercely protective, dangerous mothers who are more than willing to burn the entire world down to ashes for their children. The stakes have never been higher, and the potential for absolute, irreversible devastation is palpable in every single interaction. The dark, buried shadows of the past have returned with a vengeance to haunt the present, and absolutely no one in the Spencer or Logan families is safe from the impending explosion. As the dust momentarily settles on Darcy's initial, devastating strike, the future of Will and Melissa remains perilously, heartbreakingly uncertain. Their romance, born out of shared vulnerability, pain, and a desperate need for authentic connection, is now a fragile pawn in a much larger, darker, and infinitely more dangerous game. The young lovers must navigate a terrifying minefield of dark family secrets, corporate lies, and ruthless maternal vengeance, desperately trying to hold on to each other as the world violently crumbles around them. Whether their love can withstand the Category 5 hurricane of Darcy Dylan and Katie Logan Spencer remains to be seen. But one thing is absolutely, undeniably certain: the landscape of Los Angeles will never, ever be the same again. In the end, this is a profound, gripping story about the terrifying, destructive, and all-consuming power of maternal love. Both Darcy and Katie are driven by a primal, unbreakable need to protect their offspring, but their opposing methods have unleashed a catastrophic chain reaction of chaos that threatens to consume them all in its fiery wake. The Dark Spencer family secret looms incredibly large over the narrative, a ticking time bomb waiting to obliterate the legacy that Bill and Katie have fought so hard and sacrificed so much to build. As Darcy Dylan stands tall and unyielding amidst the emotional wreckage she has caused, she sends a clear, undeniable, and terrifying message to the elite of Los Angeles. The Dylans have arrived, they are armed with the truth, and they will not be broken by anyone.